He's exactly the kind of disruptor the world needs right now. Elon Musk has become one of the loudest, most unapologetic critics of woke culture, and he's been shaking up the status quo with every tweet and interview, from dismantling cancel culture to mocking hollow corporate virtue signaling. Musk has built a reputation as a fierce defender of free speech and old-school common sense. Today, we're breaking down some of his most legendary moments, those epic times he clapped back at smug interviewers and turned the tables in ways nobody expected. It was a sight to behold. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell for more content like this.
Let's talk a bit about your tweets, because it comes up a lot. Even today, it came up in anticipation of this. I mean, you do some tweets that seem to be, or at least give support to some who would call others conspiracy theories.
Well, yes, but I mean, honestly, some of these conspiracy theories have turned out to be true.
Which ones?
Well, like the Hunter Biden laptop.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that was a pretty big deal. There was Twitter and others engaged in active suppression of information that was relevant to the public. That's a terrible thing that happened. That's election interference.
It's almost like the mainstream media has a giant red button labeled conspiracy theory, that they smash the moment anyone dares to question their sacred narrative. The instant someone raises a skeptical eyebrow or points out inconvenient facts, boom, the label gets slapped on like a magic spell to shut the conversation down. It's their favorite trick: dismiss, deflect, and deny, all without ever engaging in an honest debate. There's no need to prove anything wrong when you can just brand it crazy and move on. It's become the ultimate intellectual cop-out, a lazy way to sideline independent thinkers without even breaking a sweat. In this case, the interviewer was so rattled by the response that they followed up with questions so absurd, they sounded like the one wearing the tinfoil hat.
Okay, but why share it? Why share it? Especially, why share it when people who buy Teslas may not agree with you, advertisers on Twitter may not agree with you? Why not just say, hey, I think this. You can tell me, we can talk about it over there, you can tell your friends, but why share it widely?
I mean, this is freedom of speech. I'm allowed to say what I want.
Yeah, imagine the nerve. Sharing his own opinions on his own platform. The audacity. The reporter, desperate for a gotcha moment, kept interrupting and pushing, hoping Elon would buckle under the weight of public outrage. But instead of backing down, Elon fired back with a response so sharp and unexpected, it completely short-circuited the entire interview.
Do your tweets hurt the company? Are there Tesla owners who say, I don't agree with his political position because, and I know it because he shares so much? Or are there advertisers on Twitter that Linda Yaccarino will come and say, you gotta stop, man, or, I can't get these ads because of some of the things you tweet?
I'm reminded of the scene in The Princess Bride. He confronts the person who killed his father, and he says, offer me money, offer me power. I don't care.
So you just don't care. You want to share what you have to say.
I'll say what I want to say, and if the consequence of that is losing money, so be it.
I love how completely helpless he sounded after getting hit with that answer. It was like watching someone realize.
I love how completely helpless he sounded after getting hit with that answer. It was like watching someone realize in real time that their carefully rehearsed script just went up in flames. Woke culture has truly mastered the art of using money as a silencing weapon. The playbook couldn't be clearer. Don't just disagree with someone. Financially destroy them. It's no longer enough to pose an opinion. The mission now is to make sure that opinion never even sees daylight. And this tactic doesn't stop with regular people. Celebrities get steamrolled, too. We watched actors lose movie roles, brand deals, or endorsements just for daring to say something even slightly off script. That's not some random accident. It's deliberate strategy. The woke mob figured out long ago that the fastest way to shut someone up is to dangle their paycheck over a cliff. Elon wasn't spared from this, either. He got hit with the same tactic when he appeared at the 2023 Deal Book Summit. And once again, his comeback was not what they expected.
But there's a public perception that that was part of a apology tour, if you will. That this had been said online. There was all of the criticism. There was advertisers leaving. We talked to Bob Iger today.
I hope they stop.
You hope?
Don't advertise.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go yourself.
But
Go yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
This all came after a wave of companies yanked their ad from X, each scrambling for a different excuse like they were picking slips from a hat. But the loudest in the chorus was Disney CEO Bob Iger, who boldly claimed their decision came down to a simple feeling. Asterisk, we just felt that the association with Elon Musk and X was not necessarily a positive one for us. Asterisk translation, Elon made them uncomfortable. But that wasn't the end of the story, not even close. True to form, Elon didn't stay silent. Instead, he flipped the script on Bob Iger in spectacular fashion, turning the tables with a boldness that had everyone talking.
But you recognize that some of those people are going to say that they didn't feel comfortable on the platform. And I just wonder and ask you and think about that for a second.
Tell it to the judge.
But the judge is going to be...
The judge is the public.
And you think that the public is going to say that Disney is making a mistake?
Yes.
And they're going to boycott Disney?
They already are.
That's exactly why so many people respect this man's opinions. He never sugarcoats, never backs down. He says exactly what he thinks. Consequences be damned. Right after that appearance, rumors exploded claiming Disney Plus had lost 23 million subscribers. A juicy headline, but complete nonsense. Musk shut it down instantly, posting the article and bluntly writing, asterisk, this is fake. Classic Elon. Asterisk, he didn't stop there either. He reminded everyone of the obvious. Companies like Disney weren't advertising on X out of generosity. It was just good business. Pulling ads wasn't some righteous moral stand. It was a move that could actually hurt their own reach and their shareholders in the process. And just when you thought it couldn't get any wilder, we got the now infamous BBC interview, a full year after Elon took over Twitter. And wow, that one was an absolute roller coaster.
I think the issue some people have is that a lot of people were brought back. I mean, some people were brought back who were previously banned for spreading things like QAnon conspiracies. You have people like Andrew Tate who were brought back, who were previously banned for things like hate speech. Do you think you prioritize freedom of speech over misinformation and hate speech?
Well, you know, who's to say that something is misinformation? Who's the arbiter of that? Is it the BBC?
You're literally asking me?
Yes.
Well, no, you are the arbiter on Twitter, because you own Twitter.
Yes, I'm saying, who is to say that one person's misinformation is another person's information?
That's really what it all comes down to. At the end of the day, when we're talking about who decides what speech is acceptable and what isn't, someone has to play judge. And that's where things get complicated. Let's be real. Giving that kind of power to any single person or group is like walking a tightrope over a pit of censorship. Who decides what crosses a line? Who gets to be the moral referee? And more importantly, how can we trust that their judgment isn't clouded by bias, hidden agendas, or the loudest voices shouting in their ear?
But you accept that misinformation can be dangerous, that it can cause real-world harms, that it can potentially cause...
Yes, so the point I'm trying to make is that the BBC itself has, at times, published things that are false. Do you agree that that has occurred?
I'm quite sure the BBC have said things before that turn out to not be true.
Correct.
In its, whatever it is, 100-year history, I'm quite sure.
Yes. Even if you aspire to be accurate, there are times when you will not be.
Right, but
I think in the grand scheme of things, the BBC does aspire to be accurate.
Getting them to admit that the BBC had been wrong on multiple occasions? Absolute gold. That moment alone was a mic drop for media accountability. The truth is, X has become the go-to platform for breaking news. People actually trust it more than the old mainstream outlets. But when you're racing to be first, accuracy sometimes gets tossed in the backseat, like yesterday's headlines. That's where X's community feature comes in, flagging and correcting misinformation in real time. Sure, mistakes happen everywhere, but it's how those mistakes are owned and fixed that really matters. And just when a reporter thought he was steering the whole conversation, Elon flipped the script completely and started asking his own questions. Let's just say the reporter wasn't even slightly prepared for what came next, and watching him squirm was priceless.
Do you like the BBC? Do you like BBC?
Okay, yeah, we're not going to...
Oh, I can't interview you.
Obviously, I work for the BBC.
But do you like BBC?
I know. I see what you're doing. I'm not going to respond to that. Okay. I think we can finish the interview there. If you want to continue, thank you very much.
Well,
Elon, for
come
doing
on.
this. I really appreciate it.
Sure you like BBC. Come on.
I'm not engaging. All right. Elon, it honestly has been a pleasure talking to you.
All right, Elon. It really has been a pleasure talking to you. It was a simple yes or no question. No need to clutch your pearls. Honestly, that was the ultimate troll move, and I've got to give credit where it's due. Elon handled it like a pro. But now I want to know, which of these moments had you laughing the hardest? Drop your pick in the comment below and let's get the conversation going. And hey, if you want your friends to see these interviewers get steamrolled, share this video with them.